Welcome back to another episode of the Unknown Sports Podcast. My name is AJ Musser. Joined with me, as usual, is Hunter Harris and Austin Fyffe. What is up, fellas? Going into week 11 of the NFL season. Is it a shocker that we're already this deep into the season?
Can't believe we're here, man. Oh my gosh. Wild. It's like every week when one week ends, another one starts.
Yeah.
Hey, you mock it now, but you're gonna miss football.
I am.
Yeah,
very much.
And we're already over the halfway marker, which means we got to start counting our blessings.
Yeah, we flew through it. And your Packers, Hunter, dude, they finally excelled this weekend and got a dub. And speaking of excel, let's talk about Excel Brewing Company. We're going to drink a little Radler tonight, Austin, and listeners. This is the little can. It's like a hot air balloon where it's an orange, and it's a beer, but it's also it has citrus soda in it. So we got this one mainly for, it sounded interesting to taste, actually. The can's pretty neat, too.
Yeah,
Also,
the can looks awesome.
If you haven't figured out yet, the beer that I like the most is the beer that doesn't taste like beer. So the fact that this has citrus soda is exciting to me.
Yeah, anything that can taste less like beer for me is the way to go.
Oh, I like beer.
You're a seltzer guy, right?
Yeah. Seltzer and ciders I like more than beer by a lot.
Oh, ciders. I haven't had a cider in a long, long time.
Ooh,
There's a reason for it, though. There's a reason for it. Why I haven't had one in at least 10 years.
What, the high school years, you were drinking the cider too much?
Yeah, we don't need to get into detail of it, but yeah, I had a lot of them back in the day.
Try this beer and let me know what you think here, AJ. This is it's a little bit different. Yep, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, that Radler, you need to make up your mind of what you are. I don't think
it tried too much to be a soda.
It did. And the thing is, though, is I feel like if they got rid of the beer aspect, it could be a good orange soda. And if they got rid of the orange soda part, or the citrus soda, sorry, if they got rid of the citrus soda part, could be a good beer. But the combination of the two, yeah, no, I'm good.
We're calling it a quits already.
Maybe try it again.
We'll see. I might have. Out. Yeah, I might. It seemed pretty flat as it was, but we'll see.
Not that.
It is. It is not. Look at this. No fizz, nothing. It's
mine. Yeah, it didn't have a massive head to it. Wasn't a great deal of head on this week's podcast.
What a shame.
What a shame.
Need more head on the podcast.
More head needed. All right, let's talk. Let's go over a couple games from last week. We had a very big game last week. Game of the year is what the experts are calling it. Minnesota traveled to Buffalo and walked away stealing a win. Hunter, you picked Buffalo in this one, dude. What do you think happened with your pick there?
So gotta take you. I'm not gonna lie here on the show and pretend that I watched things that I didn't. I was on a plane from the third quarter of this game to the first quarter of the next games.
Oh, that's right.
Oh man.
When I got on the plane, they were up 28-10, I think it was. And I was feeling great. I had Bills in every parlay that I could possibly have. I had them straight up. I felt fantastic. And then I get off the plane and suddenly we lost by 3 in overtime. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Kirk Thuggins showed up, dude.
Kirk Thuggins showed up. When I watched the highlights, I didn't see a whole lot of Kirk Thuggins. What I saw was Justin Jefferson and the Bills falling on their face. But
I mean, someone's got to throw the ball to him.
But what did you guys see? Because you guys actually saw this.
Well, I'll unpack it first a little bit, Austin. Because it was a wild ending. I was watching multiple games and had some people in my ear. Anthony, who was on our podcast the other week or a few weeks ago, whenever that was, he and I were talking during the game, and he told me that the Vikings had just recovered a fumble or something and won the game. And so I flip over to it, and what I saw was 1st and goal for the Bills, and they go to, quarterback sneak it to get out of their own end zone, and they have a center quarterback fumble exchange, and the Vikings land on the ball in the end zone, which never just the center quarterback exchange for a fumble touchdown. How often or how many times has that ever happened in the NFL to start out with?
Yeah, I mean,
Minnesota takes the lead with that touchdown. Buffalo gets the ball back, drives downfield, gets a field goal, and then the game goes to overtime. And then just Vikings drive down, kick a field goal, and then Buffalo just couldn't put it together in the end. Lots of mistakes for Josh Allen. Austin, go ahead.
Yeah, so that old cliche that we hear all the time about if this one play goes differently, this game is entirely different. There was about 7 of those just in the fourth quarter and overtime in this game that legitimately changed the outcome of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably the best catch we've seen since Odell happened in this game. Justin Jefferson converting a 4th and 18. Just absolutely incredible. But the Bills defensive back had 2 hands on it. It's 4th and 18. If he just knocks the ball down instead of trying to come up with a pick to stat pad, the game's over. You can keep going. AJ, you already touched on the center quarterback exchange. Gabe Davis did not catch the ball on the sideline.
No, they shouldn't have even gotten to drive down the field.
No,
yeah,
not at all. He definitely, the ball hit the ground, the ball moved. It should have been stopped, but credit to Buffalo and Josh Allen to get up on the ball and go as fast as he possibly can. That's what you're supposed to do in those scenarios. Got to play off before they could review it. It felt like one play after another. Yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson he's the best receiver in the NFL, and it's not particularly close. In my mind, it's really not.
It wasn't close with Devontae Adams last year when you said that too.
No, you're right. And it turns out that you also need a quarterback to be a really good wide receiver. And Kirk Cousins is a much better quarterback than Derek Carr is. And more importantly, Kevin O'Connell is a much better coach than Josh McDaniels is. But we'll get to that in a minute. It's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, Devontae is awesome, but when Justin Jefferson can single-handedly win a game against one of the best teams in the NFL
with a single hand,
literally single-handedly rip down that ball out of the receiver or out of the defensive back's hands.
4th and 18. Yeah, Carly had asked me later in the day yesterday. She asked me if I saw that catch, and I said no. And so I went and looked it up and was like, oh crap. I was like, that's because I asked her, because she said it was the greatest catch she's ever seen. And I said, okay, well, I go compare it to Odell's. I go, was it better? And she goes, she said, in my opinion, it is. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And pulled it up and was like, yeah, that's pretty comparable. Like,
yep.
It's definitely like a 1A, 1B situation, in my opinion.
Not to just shoo Carly's takeaway right there, but earlier this year we had this conversation about the George Pickens catch too, and we're not even discussing that anymore.
No, that wasn't on 4th and 18 in one hand against the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Pickens was pretty sick though.
But my point here is we always do this with anytime there's a dramatic catch like this. It's the best catch since Odell. It's not going to hold the same weight as the Odell catch because that one got replayed for commercials over and over and over and over. And it just is so ingrained in our memory that it's going to be hard to ever have another catch step up to that level because of that. But yeah, it was a sick ass catch. 4th and 18 too is a hell of a lot bigger spot than Odell's catch too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not wrong though.
But yeah, I just think it's funny how we do this every time there's a big catch.
Yeah.
Any more analysis on the game?
Yes. Kirk Cousins was terrible for what I saw. So, anyways,
it sounds funny. Like you only saw the very beginning of the game, and he had the scripted touchdown drive like we talked about, and then he went silent and went ghost protocol for the rest of the first half.
And if what I'm looking at here is correct, he didn't really improve on those numbers a whole lot other than yardage, and it sounds like Justin Jefferson was the main reason that happened. So, let's.
Someone's got to throw the ball.
It was so funny. I was watching this game with a buddy, and obviously going crazy because it was one of the best games we had all year, if not the best game. And with about 3 minutes into the second half, we kind of looked at Kirk Cousins stat lines, and I go, here's the Kirk Cousins game, and my buddy goes, no. He goes, there's what's going to happen. He goes, Kirk Cousins is going to walk away with about 350 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then we're going to look back and go, see, Kirk Cousins is something. And holy crap, was he almost exactly right. He finished 357 yards and a touchdown. My concern coming out of this game for the future is Buffalo can't stop the run, like, at all.
Good thing Kansas City doesn't run.
Yep.
Yeah, but
what's
Tennessee does.
What's also a problem is I think their offensive coordinator has some major mental lapses at points.
Yeah, we talked too about the last couple weeks about coasting, and it kind of felt like it happened again, and it bit him again. You can't take your foot off the pedal in the NFL. This isn't college where you can coast and your backups come in and you can score 2 or 3 more touchdowns. Because you're more talented. It's just not. And I know their offensive coordinator didn't come in from college, but the point remains that you have to keep going. And it was like they didn't. And then all of a sudden when they had to kick it back into gear, they could, but they just took too long.
Good point.
Ken Dorsey is their offensive coordinator as well, right? Okay,
first year. So, I mean, there's going to be some growing pains there. This first year calling plays.
Yeah.
So they got a ways. I mean, in my mind, it's still them, Kansas City, and then a big drop off.
Also, maybe if your offensive coordinator first year, word of advice, maybe don't have your quarterback play running back as well.
I don't think they can stop it. I don't, because I think half of it's just Josh Allen scrambling and him going, yeah, I understand there's a linebacker and there's a sideline, but I choose the linebacker.
Yeah.
And ultimately that's part of Josh Allen.
I know his injuries haven't come from those types of plays that we've seen from him this year. Like the injuries are not related, but it did get aggravated. Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yep. And plus, if he keeps doing this, more stuff can happen like that. Continue to aggravate it. Trying to get healthy right now. It's your throwing arm.
Yeah, that was one thing that was big that came out of it too. They said his throwing arm is not going to get worse by him playing. But they noted that it's not going to get worse by throwing. If he tries to punch the ball out after he throws a pick, chasing down the guy with the ball, does not mean that it cannot be re-aggravated and made worse, which is where you were going with that, Hunter. But it just drives me nuts, man.
One other thing to touch on before we move off this game is, are they in jeopardy of losing this number 1 seed that we talk about that they are so...
Oh, they already did.
They already did?
Yep.
Yeah, they're tied for 3rd place in the division now.
I mean, like, are they
3rd place?
Like, I mean, are they going to finish the season? Is what I'm asking.
Not at the 1 seed. No, Kansas City will.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Kansas City's
how big that
less
game
likely
was
to lose another game.
And now it's suddenly not.
Well, and I mean, that's barring a huge hiccup, which, again, Kansas City's another team that tends to have one of those every year where it's like, what is happening? Or it's a 2-game stretch where they may eke out a couple wins, but they look broken. And we haven't gotten that yet this year. So, I mean, that could still come and everything could change, but.
No, they've got a decent game this weekend. We'll get to that here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. Let's talk. The other game I wanted to touch on from last week was the Dallas and Green Bay game. Hunter, I mentioned it at the top of the show. Your Packers finally getting a win. McCarthy came up to Green Bay, and I tell you what, dude, the Cowboys were looking pretty good for a while, and then I think Mike McCarthy got a little bit on his high horse and was like, "Yeah, I'm the bee's knees. I'm back in Lambeau with my good Dallas Cowboys team, and I'm gonna start to flaunt my stuff." And then the game turned around into Green Bay's favor, and then it was kind of like an oh crap moment for Dallas fans, and then Dallas then regained control of the game again, and it was like, okay, Packers are done. And then all of a sudden it happened again. Of Packers started coming back into it. Mike McCarthy slips up again, and then the Packers end up winning that game somehow.
Yeah. When he walked out of the tunnel at the beginning of the game wearing the Lombardi trench coat.
Oh yeah, he did.
I knew we had this one. There's few things in the NFL that are so predictable. Kirk Cousins, most predictable player. Mike McCarthy, most predictable coach. You know exactly what you're going to get from Mike McCarthy, and it's a late game complete meltdown. It was glorious to see. I'm proud of my Packers for finally being able to put up some points for sure. But I don't know if any of this is that real or this is just us taking our anger out basically on the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, and Rodgers having a good game because of that too.
That was going to be my next question. Was Christian Watson had a really big game in this one? He had 3 touchdown catches, should have had 4. Do you think that this is something sustainable for him, or is it just going to be a one-off?
It can be 100%. Like, he's got the physical talent, but the guy's been dropping balls left and right all year. He dropped another ball in this game too. Like, I just don't have confidence in him.
And he stopped running on one of the go routes that I'm talking about that should have been his other touchdown.
Yeah.
Rodgers threw it perfect, and he slowed up for like 3 steps and then said, "Oh crap," and took off and started running again.
I don't know if you guys had the sound on for this game or not, but the announcers point out to that. They were like, "You're supposed to look up for a deep ball, not backwards." And Watson was staring back at Rodgers and had no idea the ball had already been there. And then all of a sudden he tries to speed back up to get it.
Yeah, and the ball would have been right on the money too.
Yep. So I don't know if it's real, but it was nice to at least get this one against Mike McCarthy, and seeing him throw the headset down after that 4th down call will stay ingrained in my memory for a while. So
yeah, the end of that game was vintage Mike McCarthy and in general bad coaches. If you know you're going for it on there, which they had their mind made up, why aren't you running Tony Pollard on 3rd down?
Great question.
It's 3rd and 4. Like, what are we doing? He's averaging, what did he average on the game? 7 yards carry or something ridiculous like that. It's 3rd and 4, run the ball. If you don't get it, you're going for it anyway. But no, instead we're going to throw the ball twice.
Also, how about you just don't go 4th down?
What are you going to do there?
I didn't think Dak had that great of a game either.
Dak never has that great of a game. Dak's not a big game guy. Dak never wins these games.
Dak's not great, so he's good at best. That's what he is. I know we paid him a lot, or Cowboys paid him a lot of money.
And he's Kirk Cousins. Like,
okay, he's not Kirk Cousins. I'd rather have Dak over Kirk Cousins. But
I don't. I think so. When has he ever shown you that he can handle a team, lead a team, be the reason this team wins games? Every time
Cousins does it every once in a while at 1:00 games.
He at least does it against bad teams. Like Dak, I feel like even against bad teams, you're like, oh, okay, that was fine. Like,
Dak
that's all it is.
A better job of protecting the ball, I will say. But they're very comparable players. I'll give you that, Austin. I wouldn't want either one of them quarterbacking my football team at the price point that they're at.
Correct. 100%. 100%.
All right.
Hey, well, last thing, this is very sustainable if Matt LaFleur does what he did yesterday and what he and that's run the ball. It's good Lord. I don't even like him and it pisses me off. Run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense.
Your Bears are in the ball.
Yep. 200 plus yards in 5 straight games. First time since 1976.
And still lost, dude. You had another perfect week. Austin.
I know, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, very short recap. I guess we can shortly recap this. But I did text you, Austin, on Sunday and said, this is like the perfect game for you. Justin Fields is playing pretty good. The offense is looking okay. And the only reason you're going to lose this game is because of a missed extra point.
I'm literally rooting for the Bears to win football games at this point just to piss Austin off. And I can't even get that.
It literally couldn't have been better. And this one was so big for the draft and stuff, because now that Detroit has 2 division wins, the Bears basically cannot pass or can't lose tiebreakers against them, because even if they beat Detroit the next time, they'll only have 1 division win, and then it will go to division record, which then Detroit will have the tiebreaker on. So we're pretty much solidified ourselves under Detroit for the rest of the year, which is very exciting.
Big news for the Bears fans. Happy day for the Bears.
There we go, Will Anderson.
And then it looks like we want to quickly touch on Indianapolis and Las Vegas. This was the equivalent to me of like the toilet bowl in gym class of when the 2 worst teams play each other. Austin, I saw you kind of flexing a sheet of paper there. I think you've got some stuff you want to say, so I'll let you have the floor.
I have a new
speech
mission
prepared.
I have a new mission, guys. So I accomplished
Is it a mission statement?
No, in a way, yeah.
Okay.
I accomplished my goal in helping getting Frank Reich fired. It was big for me.
That's all you know.
I have a new
All
head
you
coach.
and the Unknown Sports Podcast did.
I have a new head coach that needs to be fired, and good Lord, was it worse than I even thought it was. Josh McDaniels is the biggest fraud in the history of NFL coaching. This is an absolute disgrace that he is just praised to be the next great head coach. Okay, he started 6-0 his first stint in Denver. 6-0. Why are those 6 games relevant, you might ask? Well, it's before the bye week in their first week. It also is the first 6 games in which former Denver Broncos players for him said, hey, we were cheating. We got caught filming other teams' practices for those 6 weeks. We got warned. We quit doing it. Since that 6-0 start, Josh McDaniels is 7-24. It's a 22% win percentage. Here's a couple coaches that have a better win percentage than that throughout the time. Dennis Allen, failed Raiders coach, absolutely tanking the team that Sean Payton had going to the playoffs every single year. Lane Kiffin, Matt Rule, Joe Judge, Matt Patricia. And how about this one? If you take away those first 6 wins, if you only count legitimate wins that they weren't cheating, he has 4 less wins as a head coach than Hugh Jackson.
I was going to ask if you made the list.
What are we doing here? Why does he have a job? Why are we pretending he knows anything? He's going to get fired the next week. He will be New England's offensive coordinator. New England's offense will get better. The Raiders will get better, and everyone wins. So just wrap this up, put a bow on it, and be done. Shout out Jeff Saturday. He's awesome.
Where do you think Mark Davis goes from here in the head coach hiring? Like, because I mean, that guy can't get anything right, and he's got to have all denim on in these interviews. And he's out in Vegas too. There's no way that's comfortable.
Fun fact: he hasn't actually owned the team yet. I didn't know that.
What? What'd you say?
Who owns it?
His mom owns it, and
he
better hope that his mom doesn't pass away anytime soon, because in Nevada, the inheritance tax is due at time of transfer of assets. And the inheritance tax currently for the Las Vegas Raiders would be roughly $600 million. And they couldn't pay John Gruden's contract. So I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say he doesn't have that money. So they may end up having to sell the team when his mom, heaven forbid, passes away.
Unless they have it, corporatized or whatever in a different state.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can be headquartered in a state and also not in a state. Well, the Giants do it.
Use my method with my car and set up a Montana LLC.
There you go.
All right,
I'm done.
Interesting stats. Yes. And also congratulations, Jeff Saturday, on your first win. He's a big listener to our podcast. No, he's not. But if he is, shout out to you, bro. Way to go out there and shut the haters up and get a dub.
He's got Dan Campbell energy.
Yeah, he's got that Dan Campbell. He's got grit. All right,
bro, man.
Yeah. Bud. All right, let's get talking about this week's games. Starting with Austin, you texted me earlier and you said you wanted to talk this one. Let's talk, as much as I don't want to talk about it. Cleveland at Buffalo. Buffalo's an 8-point favorite at home. And Austin, you wanted to talk this one because there's word of there being, 2.5 feet of snow for this game?
Yeah, projected up to 31 inches of snow in Buffalo between Saturday and Sunday. We could get vintage, old school, nobody can even run on the field type weather up there in Buffalo. Doesn't bode well for the Bills, who can't run the football very well. But hey, it'll be constant ice on Josh Allen's elbow, so that's a big benefit for him. I'm locking in Cleveland here while this is still over a touchdown.
Wow.
This is if it's over a touchdown and we get any weather like this, That should be easy. Cleveland's built to run. Buffalo's not. Buffalo can't not stop the run, at least right now. And it's really, really hard to throw the football with 30 inches of snow on the ground. So
I love this play so much, Austin. Great play.
Bet the under.
Bet the under. Parlay or same game teaser. Give me the Cleveland spread and the under. That's a good one, dude. I'm proud of you for that pick. That's a nice pick. It's a good pick. Way to weigh all.
See, I thought about this, and if it was good weather, I would take Buffalo. But since it's not, I'm staying away from it. I'm not touching it. I don't have any faith in Cleveland to show up and do anything. Because if there's anyone that can throw in these elements, it's Josh Allen in this Bills team. And if there's any team that's going to show up not ready to play, it's the Cleveland Browns.
It's not so much the throwing, though. It's the wide receivers being able to run a route. That's the issue. I mean, they can, as long as it's not heavily windy, they can still throw it. But if Diggs is no longer fast and the other receivers don't have the ability to move laterally, there's not a lot they can do.
I still bet the Browns' defensive game plan is they come out in zone formation and Bills guys get open in the zones and they can still nickel and dime their way down the field.
That would not surprise me.
That's what the Dolphins did to them.
4 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And a broken arm.
Yeah. I just think I think it will be a fun, entertaining game to watch if it is that much snow. Just to watch grown men play football in the snow. Like that snowy, it's just going to be a slaughter. And the Browns will get destroyed.
You love
for sure. Yeah, I'm really banking on the weather here. If the weather happens to clear up and that storm hits a different day, this is going to absolutely get destroyed.
Yes. Hunter, do you have anything to add, or do you want to move on?
No, revenge game as well.
Revenge for who?
The Bills, dude. Revenge for losing last week in dramatic fashion.
Oh.
I don't think that's a revenge game. It's just a bounce back game.
Bounce back. What do you know?
Yeah, bounce back. Yeah.
Get your terminology right. You have a podcast. All right. Next on our list, we're going to talk a little bit more Vikings. We're going to get Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings. Dallas is a 1-point favorite in Minnesota this week. Either of you surprised by this spread that Dallas coming off a loss traveling back up north? They're favored.
I don't know.
It's not a primetime game, though. It's the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock game Eastern time.
Yeah, nope, not at all.
Give me your thoughts.
Dallas is, yes, they didn't play great this last week. But Dallas is still just as good of a team. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I love Micah Parsons. I almost locked this up, but didn't quite. I really, really like Dallas in this spot.
The eye test for you.
I also like Dallas in this spot too. The only thing that it makes me a little nervous is that it's in Minnesota. If it was at home in Dallas, I would feel a little bit differently.
Big letdown spot here for Minnesota.
Yeah,
big letdown spot.
Why though? Why do you think that?
I thought there would be a letdown against Buffalo because they had a big win the week before.
Yeah, but Buffalo's a better team. They're Super Bowl favorite. You don't let down against a good team. You let down against an inferior team.
Okay.
Coming off a super
or a team
emotional
that you view as an inferior team.
Yeah, and I mean super emotional win, all the highs and lows from that game. Yeah,
Also, the Cowboys will be getting pressure in this game too.
Yep.
One thing that Kirk Cousins does not do well with at all. See last week.
All right. It seems like that wraps up that game. We went hard for Dallas there. I like Minnesota in it, but not enough to lock it. I just think that Minnesota can outscore Dallas. I think Minnesota's defense is pretty good, is it not? And we trust you guys trust Dak to score more points than Kirk Cousins in that high-powered offense?
I mean, given the comparison, yeah. I mean, you don't know what Zaire Smith is, or Zadarius Smith is playing this week or not either. He left the game injured late in that game. And if they don't have a pass rush, Zeke and Pollard and Dak and CD, that'll be plenty.
The line just convinces me as well more than anything too. Why would it be set like that? That's why.
Okay. Going with the desert. All right, let's talk last game. Sunday night, Chiefs Chargers, Kansas City on the road in LA, favored by 7, an entire touchdown. Guys, I know we've been talking Brandon Staley, but I just want to be on the record. Austin, I'm pretty sure it's on your side of the record that I don't like him.
He's next
I think
after
he's
I take care of Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, I think he's ruining this Chargers team along with injuries, but I'm locking up the Chiefs in this one.
I have no reason to really feel one way or the other because I don't watch a lot of Chargers games. But from everything I see from Justin Herbert, with him not pretty much being touched ever in the pocket, and his numbers that he puts up, the amount of talent they have on that offense, there's no reason they should be a better team than this. It's Brandon Staley. It has to be. I don't know what else it could be at this point.
It's coaching, but it's not just Staley.
It's across the board coaching.
Offensive coordinator, the play calling is very suspect. You have Justin Herbert. I believe they take the 6th fewest deep shots down the field. When they
think part of that,
Mike Williams, they check it down constantly.
I think part of that though is the lack of receivers because again they're hurt, but also Justin Herbert was hurt too.
It was last year too, though. They finished in the bottom half of the year last year as well. Lombardi wants to run the, spread it out West Coast quick passing style stuff, which I mean can work. Don't get me wrong, but when you have an arm talent that Justin Herbert has, you have to utilize that to move the ball down the field. Especially when you have a defense that can create takeaways. That's going to be elite when healthy. I kind of subtly think that this Chargers team might start making a run, and it's going to start this week.
Did you see something that makes you think that, or just a gut feeling?
Both the rumblings that Bosa might be back. Mike Williams is supposed to be back this week. Keenan Allen's getting healthy. This defense is still insane when healthy. They're just really banged up.
Yes. And
if they mesh at the right time, which for years the story has been that the Chargers didn't and that it took too long, I just think that Herbert's good. Eckler's awesome. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are good. Derwin James is awesome. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. They got too many dudes. Like, eventually it's going to start just working out. Give me division dog of 7 points in prime time. No doubt. Every time. I'm locking in the Chargers.
If the playoffs were to start today, the Chargers are right on the outside in the 8 spot. I haven't taken a look at the playoff picture yet, but this is the first time doing it, and we're doing it live. But it looks like there's 3 teams tied at 5-4 between the Patriots, the Chargers, and the Bengals, and then the Colts somehow are in that 10 spot at 4-5-1, and then the Browns are in a big box there trying to flex themselves at 3-6. I don't see that happening.
Schedule too, man. If they can figure out a way to eke this one out, you have Cardinals, Raiders, home to the Dolphins, cross-country trip, home for the Titans, Colts, Rams at home, Broncos.
And that's the thing this year with so much, just with all the teams beating up on each other, like there's no one really that far ahead. Like being the Bengals at 5-4 are 2 games back on the Chiefs, who are the 1 seed at 7-2.
Yep.
Like, kind of a wild year in the NFL, wouldn't you say, Hunter?
Wouldn't you say?
Wouldn't you say?
I would be siding with you, Austin, on this game as well. I don't feel enough to lock it, but it's a division game as well. And on a neutral site, this is a 10-point line by Vegas. Jeez.
Yep.
In a divisional game? No. Not happening.
Yep. It's already moved, too. It's down to 6.5.
Wow. That's quick. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, people are going to hammer that.
Sounds like Austin's already warming up the fingers to type in the fade AJ parlay this week.
Maybe.
In fact, let me if you guys want to quickly discuss, I can quickly check myself and see how I did last week.
Let's see a yearly
You got it.
total, man, on the locks.
Actually, I think he tied you this week, Hunter.
Like on the year?
Close. Yeah.
Oh,
Did the Giants cover?
shit.
I'm checking right now.
That was the only one I didn't know. You
I
got
thought they
KC,
did, didn't
missed
they?
Seattle.
They had a good week.
Giants won 24-16, and the spread last week was 6.5.
So yeah.
So yeah, I got that.
Right now, AJ has 9 wins. Hunter has 10. I have 12.
All right. Well, Fade AJ parlay didn't work last week because I got 2 of them. 2 out of 3. So suck it, Fade AJ parlay people.
Also, I think one of your numbers is wrong here. Yeah, give me 2 points last week instead of the 1. What are we doing over here? I got 2.
Oh yeah, Miami. You're right. I didn't see Miami. My fault.
What's up, AJ?
I wanted to go with Miami too. Did I go Cleveland? There's no chance I bet Cleveland.
No, you bet Seattle.
I think I've locked Cleveland maybe once this year, and then I saw what they were, and I know what they are.
Damn, dude, you locked Seattle in Germany, dude?
Yeah. You really thought Tom Brady wasn't going to be the first quarterback to win in 4 countries? Come on.
Come on, man.
Come on.
He's technically going home, you know?
Hey, shout out.
Yes, I
shout
just
out
called
to
Tom
him.
a Nazi.
He's undefeated since being divorced, so watch out.
Yeah. Good for him.
The papers went through and he started feeling a lot better.
Happy home life really takes care of everything else.
Happy/empty home life. All right. I think that pretty much wraps up our show this week. Hunter, do you have any more to say on Excel Brewing Company's Radler?
I have nothing to add to this drink. I tried to make it sound at least semi-passable as a beer, but you know, it's not.
If this was
in
your fridge, if this was in a fridge, would you grab it?
Hell no. I don't care what's in the fridge. I'm grabbing water over this drink, dude. I do want to at least cover the rest of my locks for the week, though, AJ.
Well, you didn't give me a second to address that.
Gosh, dang it, dude. We do the beers after our locks, bro. We do the beers after the locks.
I thought it was a good transition. Austin, we work right to left. Give us your 3 locks for the week.
I already talked to Cleveland. That'd be more than a touchdown. I like it. And then my last 2 picks, just system stuff. If anybody's listening that likes betting stuff. Division dogs in prime time. We have 2 this week. Yeah, the Chargers at home, 7 points. In Arizona, +8 against San Francisco again at home. Kyler should be back. Heaven forbid Colt McCoy starts in this game. I don't have a shot, but there's always that one Colt McCoy game.
Yep, and it's Monday night, so that could be the one Colt McCoy game.
No, last week was.
Oh, I didn't watch any of that game. I'm so tired of watching the Rams. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I was excited to lock up whether it was Wolford or not because Kyler is just absolutely awful against Aaron Donald, and then Kyler didn't play, and it threw everything for a loop.
All right, Hunter, give me your 3 locks.
Yes, game that you need to touch on as well. I'll come back to that one, actually. My first lock, I got Denver against the Las Vegas Raiders. This is not an endorsement of the Broncos by any means. I do not like anything going on in that organization. But they are playing against a terrible football team in the Raiders. That also cannot stop anything, really, defensively. So if there's a game where the Broncos can get enough offense to cover a spread, it's this one, so I'm taking it. And they're at home too. I'm also going to go with the Giants, who are also at home, playing against another terrible football team in the Detroit Lions.
Whoa, they just came off a big division win.
Oh, yeah.
Back-to-back division wins.
Yeah.
My bad. Really big wins there. Whatever.
3 is a streak.
2 is a streak. 3 are on fire.
All right. Especially if you're the Lions. They should be considered on fire with 2 wins. What's your third one, Hunter?
At home. And then my third one, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, who are going on the road to Indianapolis, 6.5-point favorites there. Last week was a very emotional win. And the Eagles just suffered their first loss. They're also coming home. It's a touchdown game. I like it.
Bounce back.
I'm
with you. I'm locking up Philly as well against Indianapolis. Austin, you always like to talk about how when a head coach gets fired the following week, the interim gets a dub. Well, Jeff Saturday did that. So what happens the second week? They typically come back down to earth. Am I wrong?
Yep. No, you're totally right.
All right. So definitely locking up Philly in this one because they are going to be pissed off about losing their first game to Washington. Next, I'm locking up the Rams over the Saints. Saints are favored in this one by 4 points, and I'm only doing it because I know that the Rams are the better team. And if they want to make the playoffs, they have to beat teams that they're better than. So this is me having faith in the Rams being a better team. Am I going to watch this one? Not even 1 second of this game am I going to watch. Not even watch the highlights because I really don't care enough.
Well, there won't be many highlights to watch.
Unless Taysom Hill has 5 touchdowns, I'm not watching this game.
Hey, quick thing, real quick. I mentioned Dennis Allen being terrible when I said something about Josh McDaniels. What are we doing? You have Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston on your roster, both healthy. Why are you starting Andy Dalton?
It's the Red Rocket, dude.
All three of them
have
suck.
their own first-round pick. So there's no benefit in losing.
Yeah.
You try to win. At least go have fun.
If you play to win the game.
If Taysom or Jameis is out there, at least it's going to be fun. Your team's going to feel like they have a chance.
Start Jarvis Landry at quarterback. We don't care.
Try to lose games. I would watch.
They just need to throw the ball to Olave almost every time.
True.
That guy's
Jameis would.
That guy's insane.
Jameis would just throw it somewhere. He doesn't even know if it's his own team or not.
Exactly. It's better to watch Andy Dalton.
He did get LASIK. I think, though, that they like Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton takes the check down, which gets Alvin Kamara involved, whereas Jameis does not do that. So anytime Jameis plays, Kamara's not involved in the slightest.
Yep.
All right. I'm glad I made a good point tonight. That's one.
You're right. You're totally right.
And then my third lock, we already discussed it, was Kansas City. I don't care that it's a division game. I think that the Chargers are just not good. I'm going with Kansas City in this one. Hunter, you said you had something you wanted to touch on?
No, I really didn't. I mean, I already hit on it. The Tom Brady game last week. I wanted to say, this is, I guess that did make me actually think of it.
You're right.
Last week, I think the Bucs can actually put together a run here. Yes, undefeated since being divorced and all that stuff, but defensively, they're starting to look more like themselves.
Why?
Offensively,
/ healthy.
Health, yeah.
Close.
But they're starting to run the football again, is what I wanted to say offensively. And they're finding that in their rookie running back, White. I forget his first name. Rashad White. And
from?
Anyone? Arizona State.
Nice.
Why?
Why not? You want to keep going?
Maybe for an off-season podcast, I can just assemble a list and we can get Zach on here. Or Hunter, you and I can assemble a list and we get Zach in here and just have him and Austin play the From game.
That would be the greatest show.
I think people who enjoy the From game would enjoy listening to Zach and Austin play the From game. And if any one of you listening out there is like, what is the From game? It's like I say, hey, Austin, Miles Austin, where did he go to college? He's from
BYU, I think.
And then we would have the answer. I don't know. Austin's going to check it real quick.
I am. But yeah. I mean, it's a blast to just sit around and do that. More so for me because they stick into my head like crazy, but it's probably a weird, like, autistic thing, but you know.
Austin's on the spectrum somewhere and it's just random athletes.
I was not close and ain't nobody getting that one.
Where was he from?
Monmouth.
Oh, Monmouth.
Shout out Monmouth. Remember
I didn't know they had a football team.
I'm gonna text Zach and ask him. See if he knows.
They were the ones that were doing the celebrations on the sideline, right? The bench.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're frisky. come tournament time, man, they're frisky. But yeah, we did. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, that pretty much does it for today's show. Thanks for listening, everyone. Excel Brewery. Yeah, just pick it, dude. One or the other. Make it a citrus soda and send us one, or just make a normal beer and send us one. We would appreciate either one, but not combined. But thanks everyone for listening. Take it easy.